You're live.
Okay, cool. All right. Hello, everyone. This is the November 3rd Pro Board meeting. We'll start, well, doesn't look like any members of the public, so we can skip over the public comment. Get to the approval of minutes. I will make a motion to approve the October Pro Board meeting minutes. Would anyone like to second that?
Second.
Seconded by Paul. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. All right. Did everyone, I didn't really hear everyone, but it sounds like it was all approved by everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's on mute.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I don't have a ton of topics tonight, but I'll just get right into them. So the Memorial Tree Project and Bench Project is a go. Everything, we've made the flyer, and that was posted online and shared on some social media. We did have one person reach out, and I have scheduled a meeting with them this Friday at 4 p.m. To just get out there and go over some possible locations for the trees. People, anyone's welcome to join that meeting, of course. I did want to kind of, before I got too deep into showing tree locations, I also reached out to Ryan, who's the Eagle Scout, who's doing the tree planting, just to confirm all the locations that he planned on going. Because I looked through my email and I didn't see any of his write-up or his plans for the actual location. So I just wanted to confirm that. But Jeff or anyone else, are there any off-limit locations that you can think of before I get out there and tell her, we can put a tree here? I mean, obviously, I'm not going to plant it right up on the well or anything like that. But any other locations that?
Go ahead, Jeff. You go first. I got a few.
Go ahead, Paul. I'll chime in.
So the first one, Greg, is just west. North of the building is a septic field. So we don't want to plant any trees north of the building. So that would be between.
So in that, yeah, go ahead.
Between the pickleball court and the playground. Jeff, that's the location, right?
Correct.
So no trees between pickleball and playground.
No tree between pickleball. Yeah, I did see that. Can I share my screen?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Share screen. Can you see it?
I still see you. Oh.
How do I look? All right, so here's Crosston Park. Here's the tennis courts parking lot. See this brown area?
Right.
That's the septic field. I'm not sure exactly where, but let's just say this whole thing.
Okay, so that's off limits, that whole section.
Right. And then, as you said, the well, but that's
right.
Whatever. So
down in that corner there.
And then I wouldn't put anything real close to the building because then you just have leaves in the gutters type stuff. So
right.
Near a pavilion or building is fine, just not right up against it.
Okay.
And then nothing in that blocks sight line on corners or anything. But other than that, I wouldn't put it out in the middle of a field where it just becomes a mowing hazard or mowing difficulty.
Right.
I like these little gardens, plant them around here. These are pretty low trees and bushes. And then as you pointed out, there's some benches that have like this one has no trees around it. So
yeah, that one came to mind. I was going to show her that one.
These pavilions, I think we could plant trees around them, but I would go for the gardens more because where they're mulched, we don't cause any mowing difficulties, right? Mm-hmm. And then I don't know where the Boy Scouts planting in the parking lot, but he was supposed to plant around the perimeter to fill in where the trees have died or were never planted. to provide
Right.
shade for the trees, including the 2 islands. They can be planted. 2 islands here, they can be planted, perimeter here. So wherever he's not planting, and then perimeter on this one, all these are ash trees. So this whole parking lot will die. There's only 4 left. So they'll all be dead.
Right.
So I don't think we can fit it on this island, but this other one, yeah. And then I think anywhere up around the garden area, but I think some shade, like if you're playing basketball and you want to sit on the bench and have some shade, or shade in the summer along this side to shade the game during the sun, sunny. But in the winter, the leaves will fall off, and then you still have sun in the winter when you want to be warmed up. But I think it would be good in the summer to have some shade somewhere.
Can I just interject something real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So it's not necessarily about the tree, but it was something I wanted to bring up later when I had regular comment. I was there the other day looking at the healing gardens for the project, and noticed that there's no fence around the basketball court. I don't know if that's something we'd ever want to add. The ball kept rolling down the one side of the thing into the road. So you can't, I don't know if you can't see my finger, but like the one side, like I wouldn't even need, yeah, right there seemed to be the problem. So I don't know. I would propose that maybe someday if we had enough money to add some partial fencing, maybe even just that side and the back side towards the baseball field. So I don't know if that's something that anybody would support.
So I agree. I remember I asked Jeff about that when we first started this whole business, and he said he doesn't get too many complaints about it. Was that right, Jeff? Wasn't that you I was talking to?
Correct. We haven't received any requests for that.
So the only thing I would say is that it's the kids that, like, the age group that uses it mostly, they probably don't think about it. That doesn't mean that it's not a safety issue. Like the ball rolled down and actually rolled. Yeah. It was wet out. I was surprised they were even playing in the rain, but it rolled pretty far almost to the road. So I don't know if it's.
No, I think it's a good idea. It would, hey, they get more exercise this way chasing the ball, but it's an inconvenience, and I think a fence is a good idea. So,
but just so that maybe not put trees on that side if we ever wanted to maybe add a fence. And I'm only just saying is it's a safety issue. You know how I get about safety. I just was surprised that the ball rolled pretty. I mean, it didn't quite get to the road, but it could take a bad bounce and wind up in the road one day, or in front of a car. But
I think we could do both, though. We could put a fence, within 3 feet of the asphalt, and then the trees could be, 12 or 15 feet away.
Yeah.
I would never put the tree right on the asphalt because the roots would lift the asphalt and crack it.
Right. Yeah, another spot I was thinking, because I know the pickleball players were complaining about the wind and, a tree on the north side of the pickleball court, possibly.
So I agree, but the wind usually comes from the west and north or northwest, and the trees we're planting are deciduous, and they're going to lose their leaves, and the windy times are in the winter and fall and spring. But a row of pine trees would make a nice wind block, but I don't think anybody's going to want to dedicate them.
Yeah.
But again, this whole thing could use trees, so anywhere in here is fine with me.
Right.
Just not this side. And then go ahead.
Oh, but on the north side of the basketball court, to the right of that little shady spot there is an inlet box in there for stormwater.
Here or here?
To the right, sir.
Here?
Right in there, roughly.
All right, well, good point. So we won't want to do that.
So if you went further north in between that and the path, would somewhere in that range still be okay, or you want to stay still away from? Like how far
Where does
away?
It go, Jeff? Where does the pipe go? We don't want to plant it on top of the pipe either.
As I remember, go ahead, Paul.
It looks like it's right here. No?
Well, I thought there was 2 there actually, but I think that, Paul, I think there are 2. I can't swear to it now, but I think.
Do you know where the pipe goes?
I think it goes down in the ball field. If you look at the pavilion on the right, And then you can see that little inlet box. See it in the field. It's kind of off first base.
First base.
You had it.
This one?
No, to the right.
No, this one.
Right there. And then it goes out further.
This one?
North. Yep.
And then probably off into the woods.
Yep.
So Greg, I wouldn't plan anything from here to here to here.
Okay.
Gotcha. One last thought, and then I'll shut up, is I always thought we need more shade around the playground area. When my kid was playing on this playground, you sit on these benches and you cook.
Right.
So I thought some shade on the south side would be especially useful, or west side would be useful.
Now on the south side, and again, Paul, as I remember, there is the electric line possibly, and possibly the well line come up on the south side of the building.
Yeah, so here's the well. It cuts under the street right here. You can see the cut. And then here's the box. So I would assume it's coming right through here.
Yep.
So maybe, Jeff, if you have the underground drawings, we could just make sure, you know, because I do think this is, we have a tree here already, but it's a little stubby thing.
Right.
So if maybe we put them in the mulch, or maybe the pipes are over here and we can put them in the grass. I don't know, but
yeah, it's worth trying to locate. We do have a. It is very worth trying to locate.
Does the township have to call Miss Utility? Like, are they required?
Yeah, for sure. I would.
I mean, it's free, right? It couldn't be hurt to.
Well, we want to set an example for contractors, right? We don't want to be the one. And the guy digging the hole for the tree, you know, he would be responsible. Yeah. So these towers, I don't see any above ground service coming to these towers. So they must have some huge power supply coming underground from somewhere. So we want to make sure we know where that is too.
So if we call utility once, like they'll mark it and maybe we could take some pictures and just have it.
No, it's the opposite. You tell them the area of interest. So you tell them like here, and then they'll survey this area. They're not going to do the whole park. Okay. It's by hand with a little hand wand. So.
Okay. So if the person were to pick like 2 or 3 locations, and then have Miss Utility mark those, and then pick the best of those locations.
Yeah, but
maybe have them pick more than one spot just in case.
But once you get away from this, there's not much undergrounds, right? Once you get away from this upper lot. So Jeff, there's no electricity north of this line where I'm waving, right?
Not that no.
And the water fountain, like, is the line for the water running from there to the comfort station?
Can you bring that picture up, Paul? Now, if you look in that strip of grass, I'll call it west of the tot lot.
Yeah.
There's drainage for the tot lot in there, and I believe the water line goes down right through there.
We should move on and just, Jeff, if you could get the underground utilities map, that would just help us eliminate a few areas that are high risk, or, you know, then we could narrow it down maybe.
I'm happy to try and find it.
Jeff, did you pick your spot? Because you were the one that wanted to do this. I don't want someone to come along and take the spot that you had in mind.
That's a good point.
Yes, I would like to do it. And no, unfortunately, I haven't had the time to get together with Greg. So I'm not.
Yeah, any idea of where you're thinking?
I feel bad putting you on the spot, but I know you had something in mind, and I don't want somebody to come along.
Well, how about front and center of the garden where the tree was before? Would that be good?
Yeah, but he wanted to do a big oak tree. So, and we're doing small trees in there.
And I know you guys don't want to get too deep into this, but if Paul can move that picture up some more, like go towards Parsons, please.
No, I think you should get a say. You're the one that had the idea.
No, I appreciate that very much. This nice meadow we have now.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't we plant trees in there?
You can.
You could. I mean, it's not a meadow anymore once you make, put
Well,
the trees in there, but we could do that.
Could you put
You know,
one corner? Can you put some on the corners and like designate the corners of the meadow?
yeah, or we could, I mean, we never cut the path through there or had them cut the path. We could kind of line, if when we actually have a path in there, we could kind of line that path, on the side there.
yeah, that's an idea. That was one of the spots in that, I'll call it the meadow area, but maybe it's not appropriate. And probably a second spot would be in that middle parking lot where those 4 ash trees are that are dying.
Up here?
Okay.
The middle parking lot, Paul. Oh, go to the next one, sir. That one in here.
Yeah, I think we have a delay because I was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think a good spot, there's like a little, I don't know, a little bench there?
It's a Girl Scout, a picnic table, octagon or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That'd be a good little, that whole triangle area seems like a decent spot for trees.
Yeah. I mean, that would be nice.
So since I'm meeting her Friday, do you want me to not mention like that area and the new meadow area?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Greg, I apologize. Greg, you've got a live candidate at 4, so let her pick a spot, and then it's not going to be the end of the world. Like I said, I've got 2 or 3 places in my mind, so
Okay.
I'll certainly work with you. It's not a problem for me.
Okay.
You're being very generous, but
yeah.
But also maybe you're just sick of Crosston Park. Like, where would you find peace in Crosston Park right now? It's so much work for you.
No, it's something that my mother loved. So it would be nice to do in memory of her and my father. So I would like to do that.
And even if you do want to do like that Girl Scout bench area, I think there's plenty of room, for more than 3 there.
I'm going to say, even though your design doesn't call for it, if Jeff wants mother and father here and here, I would vote for that because he gets the prime location. And it'll take 20 years for that oak tree to be big, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is if we're planting a bunch of plants that need sun, we're kind of wasting our time.
Absolutely. But in 20 years, there'll be all new plants anyway.
Yeah.
Because it'll take 20 years for a white oak or red oak to be big. All right. Let's move on then. So did you get the candidate? Is it somebody that was attending the meeting or is this from the public unrelated to the meetings?
She saw the Facebook post that I believe I put on the Landenberg page.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So and I just spoke with her 20 minutes or about an hour ago, and she hasn't decided what tree or anything, but she's interested.
So Jeff, I am really worried about these big power lines because this is some serious voltage that comes into these. So if when this subdivision was done for these 2 towers, maybe you can find a map for at least that if you can't find the park underground.
No, I understand, sir. Yep.
Yeah, that one.
Paul, are they power lines or are they cell towers?
They're cell towers, but they take a lot of power.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of electricity involved in it. And I can't imagine the easy thing to do would be go look at the telephone pole right here. If you see wires going down the pole and underground, that's probably it from that pole. Right? That would be the most logical path right through here. But who the heck knows? Okay.
So the only other thing there is we haven't really continued on with the memorial bench idea. We haven't gotten any pricing. I know there's been some mention of benches on Amazon and that kind of thing. Do you guys want to still keep pushing that, or do you want to start with the trees and see if anyone requests the bench idea?
I vote for where we stay with the trees for right now. But
okay.
I think it's just maybe in the new year, like bring up the bench idea. I guess I don't know. I could go either way, but I just feel like we have one person for the tree now, and I know we were trying to get more trees put in the park, and we are trying to work it out with the Boy Scouts, maybe see how that goes, and then revisit.
Right. Okay. Anyone else have input?
If I'm not opposed to the bench, if someone wants to figure out a bench offering, then I'd be happy to say yes. But someone needs to go look it up, and I'm not able to do that.
How about I say in the new year, I would be happy to do it. I'm trying to get a kid into college right now and get through the holidays and stuff like that. So I would be happy to do it. I'm not trying to say if anybody else wants to do it now, but I think that's probably part of my problem right now is I feel bad saying we should do the bench and then I don't have time to offer to do it, but I probably could definitely look into it in the new year.
Right.
Okay. Anyone else have any input or? All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine doing that as well, putting it off, and we can tackle it in 2022. All right. Well, I'll move on from that topic. So, healing gardens. I can, if it's all right, I'll share some photos. I went out there today. And just,
yeah. How do I stop sharing?
Good question.
Here it is. Stop share. It's on my other screen.
There you go. All right. All right. Let me.
Jennifer, did they find a hole to put the rock in?
So they were able to walk down there, and then when it was so wet and muddy, they were nervous about it, and they actually said that they were able to find a spot to use it to build up the base of the stone.
Okay.
So I was okay with that just because of the weather. I guess.
Yeah, I understand.
It was more that they were going to have to they wanted to take their truck down there, and I was like, you can't drive your truck on the grass. It's too wet. And then it was kind of miserable at the end of yesterday. So they just were wrapping it up, and they were able to use it to build up the base a little bit more. I was kind of annoyed because I feel like there's one spot that has a little bit of mud in it, but it's also hard to tell if Greg has a picture of it. It's where the timbers need to still be put back in. So I couldn't tell if it was them or where the timbers aren't in yet. And then I did yell at them or ask them to get the mud. And so I'm kind of bummed by that. Is this picture was taken today, Craig?
Yeah, I took this today. This is
okay. So I asked them to sweep up that mud on the dirt on the road, and they said they did go back on it, but I'm sure what it was is it was wet and muddy, and so it still looks kind of bad. So I don't know.
You're talking about mud on the parking lot there?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I expected more of them, but I'm sure part of it was the weather yesterday.
And that was definitely from them, because I know there's that line, the gas line. They're doing a bunch of work down there too.
So it's possible that it might have been there already. I just thought it was caused by them digging out the path. So. Maybe I snapped at them for nothing. I was just, you need to go back and clean up the mud. And he's like, I'll go back and sweep it up. But it was muddy. It was, raining at that point. So.
Yeah, there was a bunch of work trucks leaving when I pulled up there. And I know not to get off topic, but Jeff or anyone else, do you know what they're doing with that line, the gas line?
They're doing a repair on the east side of the line. What I would call on the Smith Tree side farm of the park.
Okay.
They were there many years ago doing something, and then they had run what they call an electronic pig through it and found that they needed to do some repairs this year there.
Okay. Just curious, because I saw all the equipment there.
Is that the Colonial pipeline or?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the work they've done. This is the stone that they've freshened up. I think the entryway looks really good. They dug out those roots, you said, Jennifer?
Yeah, they had done that right away. That was the first thing.
Okay.
They did. They dug out the roots, and then I think I do have a picture of it, but they put some pretty good filter. It doesn't look like regular filter because it's still pretty porous, but there's fabric filter underneath that. So they dug it out pretty deep. And so I think the most of the rocks that we paid for, or the county paid for, is in that spot. That was like all looked like pretty thick.
Yeah.
Will there be any edging done between the grass and the path? Any kind of like metal edging installed, or is it?
No, they didn't. We didn't ask them to do that.
Yeah, we didn't ask them to do that.
I just thought of it now. So, I'm sorry.
No, I do wonder. I wondered the same thing too, like how we might need to get some seed in there or something. I'm not sure, but
it would help keep the rocks out of the grass and allow for the landscapers to cut a nice edge with a weed whacker if you had some either a 6x6 timber or a metal edge or whatever.
Yeah. So they did not put any of that in there. They did dig it pretty deep though, like it's got like a good edge to it now. But I see what you mean, like. But I think that mud may have been from them. But
gotcha. Yeah, and then they also did, if you can look at the top right of the picture where we had those paths, the other paths removed, they put some soil fill in there too.
Good.
Yeah, so I think overall it looks pretty good.
Could you go back to that entrance picture? I think I just had an idea for another Boy Scout project would be like an entrance gate, like a pergola thing that like an arch or something over top of it.
Yeah, I've thought of that. I mean, we could get real fancy and have a pergola and then have like a nice vine growing around it.
Yep, that's a good Boy Scout project.
Yeah.
And then maybe the plaque could go right before the pergola. Are we thinking about the plaque over here or in the garden?
Oh yeah, put the plaque on the top of the pergola on the arch. There you go.
Yeah, you could do that. You're talking about the one from the donor?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. So
all
right, yeah, that's a good idea.
How do I get them paid? They sent me a final invoice. It was for the $1,000. Do I send that to you, Jeff?
I would send it to me, and then if I'm just picking on Greg because he's the chairman, if Greg can send me an email saying he's satisfied and to pay it, then I'll put it through for processing.
Okay, I'll forward it to you, Greg, and then if you don't mind sending it on for payment.
Sure, no problem.
Okay,
just writing that down. All right. So, all right, we'll move on. So Ryan, the Eagle Scout, who I mentioned earlier, who's doing the bird boxes and the tree plantings. Here, let me stop broadcasting here. Okay. So I did get a hold of him, and I sent him another text earlier tonight, but last I talked to him, he's aiming on doing the tree plantings in the second week of November, which is right around the corner. I don't know if Paul or I guess Eli's not here, but he mentioned that he was concerned about planting near the parking lot. But I said to him that I think there's enough room with where we suggested putting trees. I don't think we're going to have to have any issues with roots or anything like that.
Yeah, his concerns were fine, but they're not anything to worry about if we're going to be. I mean, the trees are like 10 feet away from the parking lot, so that's not.
Right.
And maybe to satisfy that, if he tells us how many trees and where he's thinking of, we can go out there with some stakes and just mark them together so that he's satisfied and knows exactly where they are. And we don't come in on Monday morning and have some tree in a bad spot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we've been back and forth on his project a lot, and so I don't even recall where we were at with how many trees he was going to put in the ground.
We were going to try to get him some smaller, cheaper trees, and I don't know whatever happened with that.
Yeah.
I think you gave him some other nursery names, but whether it came of it or whatever. Yeah.
So, and like I said, I reached out to him. I haven't heard back, but it was just this evening that I reached out. Just making sure what he said here. All right, so yeah, hopefully he'll be getting started quickly on that within the next week or two. All right, so the volunteer Steve, who's doing the invasive removal at Crosston Park. He did do, I think I showed you guys the photos last time. He started doing work. He cut down about 10 tree of heavens. And while he was in there working on the tree of heaven, which was the target, he also targeted a bunch of other invasives, multiflora rose and some other vines. And last I talked to him, he mentioned that he would, he has no problem to continue doing it, but he kind of thought that it would, he's not looking to make any money. He does this all the time for other parks. Like I said before, he does it for the city of Newark and their parks. And he just does it because he cares about the environment. But he asked that if we could cover the cost of his chemical, that he would be fine to continue on the project. And I brought that up at the supervisors meeting, and they kind of surprisingly to me were cool with it. So they, since we already approved him to do this work, they were cool with just giving him the $500 for what his request was. And he said he could cover roughly a mile's worth of woods edges in the park there. So he's going to continue on. It was kind of a pressing issue because he wanted to, it's a foliar spray, and he wants to, this was before it got real cold, but he wanted to get back out there as soon as he could just to continue on before all the leaves fall off. So he's going to just continue on with his work, and I don't know how much more he's going to do. Like I said, his emphasis is going to be tree of heaven, but also all the vines that are working the edges of the woods. I actually walked with him in the eastern section of the park. If you picture walking down the paved pathway, there's a large area of that eastern section that is completely swallowed up by a lot of the invasive vines. So that's one of his target areas.
So I think it's great, and I'm glad you asked for that. But he is focused a lot on Crosston. If he could save a few gallons for when we do projects in other preserves, that would be appreciated to help. Use some of that in some other parks as well, if that's possible.
Yeah, I can mention that. Where are you think? Anywhere in particular, or just the other preserve?
Just, when we do a trail clearing or maintenance, or edge maintenance, like cutting the vines and stuff, we want to treat the ends of the vines, so they don't come back.
Right.
Even when the hunting club does it, we could give them a pint spray bottle, or maybe 3 or 4 pint spray bottles, and say, hey, when you cut them, just spray them, and that would really help.
Yeah. I mean, I know we talked.
Is it the kind of stuff that you need to have a special license to use?
No, it's just glyphosate at 41%. So
and he does have all of his. He stays up to date on all his applicator license.
I know you had said he had a special license, so I didn't know if there's something.
Not for glyphosate. It's they sell it at Lowe's, but I mean he'll use 98% of it, Greg. I'm just saying if he could keep us in mind.
Save a little bit.
Yeah, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't want to ask for 500 for him and 50 for the rest of us. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Because I buy a couple gallons of that. I buy a couple gallons of it every year to that we use on the trails, and I just buy it.
Gotcha.
I don't know if we're any suppliers or not, but if he knows of a place to buy it and we can save the sales tax, being a municipality, I can try and buy it and then get it shipped to the office.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'll mention that.
I usually go to a D&J Farm Supply. It's much cheaper there than Lowe's or Home Depot. But every now and then, what's that?
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he does use a mix of different chemicals. I don't think he's just using straight Roundup. But yeah, I'll mention that to him.
Yeah, nobody buys the Roundup. You just buy the glyphosate, 41%. But yeah, talk to him about what chemical he buys. I'm sure he's much better educated than me about it.
Yeah, he actually mentioned it, and I jotted it down. It's I can't even say these words, but tricloper 4 was one, 2,4-D was another one, and then the glyphosate was the third. And yeah, he said he would target porcelain berry, which is a vine, Japanese honeysuckle, and then, more of tree of heavens and that kind of stuff.
And Greg, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought someone told me at one time not to use that 2,4-D anywhere near a winery.
Near what? A winery?
A winery.
Yeah,
well, I don't.
Greg, we do cleanups of hazardous waste, and 2,4-D is one of the ones that we test for. So I can find more out about it, but I'm sure in the quantity he's using it, it's not terrible. But
no. But
I just want to talk. I just want to talk about it now instead of afterwards. So I'm just saying, please keep the winery in mind. That's just north.
Sure.
Of
well, we should tell him not to use any chemicals north of the creek. How's that?
Yeah.
Like, don't.
Yeah, I mean, he was literally only going to work the edge, like basically around where all the paved pathway is.
Well, there is edge over there, but how about this, Greg? Just to be safe, just to make Jennifer feel good, we have him submit the list of chemicals he wants for two reasons. Jeff can find out if he can buy it cheaper with no tax, and then second, we could ask somebody who's educated on these things if they're safe for us to use in a municipal park, like maybe LTL Consulting can tell us or something. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, and that's the company I work for. We do hazardous waste cleanup, so I could get one of the chemists to tell us, what the concerns would be too. If something went, yeah.
Okay.
But I imagine part of those things is because he does have that license, and there's some things he can get that I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'll ask him for a list of the chemicals, and we can see about getting it cheaper, and also make sure we're using the right stuff
and where he buys it, so that Jeff can just call them up.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe not use it near the well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and again, it's definitely, he's targeting the plants. He's not, broadcast spraying all over the place.
Yeah, it's like what you guys said before. We cut down the tree of heaven last year, and was it Paul you said, and you were exactly right. We cut it down, one tree of heaven, and two grew in its place.
Oh, it's usually more than two. Yeah, the roots shoot up through the soil. Yeah, it's amazing.
So now I'm leaving the tree of heaven until next year when I can actually deal with it.
Just cut it and spray the stump. So, Greg, what does he do with the tree of heaven once he cuts them? Does he just leave them laying in the woods, or what does he?
Yeah, the ones he was doing, he dragged them into the woods there. The larger ones, he girdled the tree, and got it in there.
It'll just die, and
right,
it might become habitat.
Yeah, but yeah, the ones I saw were just, he kind of dragged them back into the woods there. Okay, so I'll bring up those points and questions to him. All right, so next was the mowing at Goodwin, which we haven't come up with a solution on that yet. So I did talk to Bob, and Jim, you're on the call, right? Is Jim there?
His name is there.
Yeah, I'm there.
Do you know if Bob ever reached out to the FSA about possibly mowing at Goodwin?
That's this weekend. On the backside?
Yeah. Oh, you guys are actually going to do it?
Yeah, we're doing it this weekend.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Jim, do you know what maybe when you're scheduling an event like that, you just make sure Greg's aware of it, right? Or the township or somebody. But what are they using for mowers?
Exactly.
What's that?
push mowers, weed whackers, whatever they can get in there.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask. So please not use any weed whackers around the trees because you can easily girdle those young trees, right?
Yeah.
So that happened on my property where a landscaper girdled the tree with a weed whacker. So I prefer no weed whackers, but there might be some areas where they're good, where it's too wet for a machine, but the walk behind machines or driving, zero turn mowers would probably work.
Yeah, but a little tough to get them in there.
Okay, so you guys are scheduled, you said this weekend, whatever, Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah, hold on, let me check my email. Yeah, Sunday the 7th.
Okay.
So
good to know.
Jim, just to spread the word, if you're going to go, is that the target is, the reason we want that side mowed is because there's multiflora rows sprouting up everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is to make sure that's mowed down.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the fun ones with the thorns if you're not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's just to notice that, mow between the trees to knock it down. So
right.
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock Sunday.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying. Getting a weed whacker and trimming right up against the tree isn't necessary. We're just trying to get the big stuff, in the rows there.
Yep.
And you can take the mowers across the creek through the crossing on the Goodwin household crossing there. Do you know where that is?
Not off the top of my head, but closer to the building, I guess you mean?
It's past the building.
Past the metal barn or whatever that is there, you mean?
Yeah. Are you going on Sunday?
I don't know right off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, I can show you here where that is, but otherwise maybe I should send Bob a note or something.
Yeah, you can show me. I'll just let him know. So.
Yeah, I did discuss it with Bob too, that because we were trying to figure out how to get over there without four-wheel drive, and there's no good options for it.
I'm going to share my screen again. So this is Goodwin Preserve. You guys see it yet?
Yep.
Here's the parking lot. And the area we're talking about is here.
Yep, the backside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this hill is too steep to go down.
Yep.
Right.
So the least intrusive way to do it is to go between the house and the mill. This is a brick mill. You go between those two. And then the crossing
is right there, yeah.
Is right here.
See the tracks.
You can see the tracks. Yeah. I mean, I drive a four-wheel through no problem. I was in two-wheel drive when I went through the other day. And then you follow the tree line where you can see someone else did. You follow the tree line, and then this yellow line represents you're on our property. So you're trespassing here, but I'm sure somebody in the group knows Sammy Goodwin, or I hope so. Otherwise, he's given us permission to do it in the past. Right. So tell him you're working for the township. But, this is his shop and his buildings, and, he owns all that. And this was his property that we bought. The other one, if it's a storm, the night before and the water's high, the other one is to come over on Pennock Bridge Road, right here.
Mm-hmm.
And the first driveway past, let me zoom out a little bit. The first driveway past Goodwin, you drive up their driveway 100 yards, and then you cut off into the grass and you drive down into the meadow. See that? But before I would ever do that, I would go knock on their door and ask them if you could use their driveway. I don't know these people. Somebody new bought the house. I knew the other guy well, and he let me do that all the time when I would go in there maintaining these trees. But since the new people bought it, I've never met them. So I don't know who it is. But that's an even better way to just go down their driveway and then down the hill.
All right.
And one last thing, Jim, is right here. If you do go the crossing, I told you follow these trees along here and you go straight and then follow our trees, the new trees. And right here, this is a stream, an intermittent stream.
Wetland.
And right here is a crossing. See, that's a pipe with stone over it.
Okay.
So the tree line, it's right on the edge of the tree line. And then you can see there's no trees planted in here on purpose so that you have a nice wide access to come in and turn around in here. So you can take trucks and trailers and, whatever across that stream. Otherwise, I don't know how you would do it. So I just want to try to give you the most benefit of getting a big machine over there rather than everyone over there with weed whackers spending all your time.
Yeah, go back to the house.
Where the crossing is?
Yeah. I just want to look again where you come by.
So
is there a trail?
It's a driveway. It's a driveway that goes to the house. See, the driveway comes down here, and then you're in the grass.
Okay, and then a trail down there. Okay.
So
I wasn't sure of where that trail, where you came off at the house.
You can't get there from this side, not possible. So keep the brick building on your left as you enter.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're driving right up against this guy's porch, but nobody lives there right now.
True, right? I haven't seen any cops there for a while.
No, you're thinking of this house.
You're thinking of the next one.
Okay, the next house. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you and the FSA for doing that.
Yeah, that's great news. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I'll move on. So just an announcement. I don't remember if I brought this up at the last meeting, but I go to Peacedale a decent amount, Peacedale Preserve, and they did a massive tree planting there. I'd say maybe 2-3 years ago. And the trees are in desperate need of maintenance as far as all the invasives. A lot of them are already completely taken over and some of the trees are dead. So long story short, they set up a volunteer day and they've been advertising it, and that's going to be on the 27th of November. It's a weekend. I think it's a Saturday. And it's going to be from 9 to 11:30. So if anyone's available or if you know anyone else who would be interested, feel free to spread the word. And we're just going to, I'm sure there's no way that in 2.5 hours, even if they get a big group, that they're going to be able to get through all those trees, but it'll at least help.
How many trees are there?
I mean, they didn't say the number, but just comparing them to Goodwin, I would say
there's a lot.
There's a lot. It's probably, I don't know, 3-4 acres worth of trees, maybe. And that's just on the one side, but it's a good amount of trees. It might be the same amount as Goodwin, maybe more.
What time did you say they were meeting?
It's from 9 to 11:30 on the 27th. Okay.
Is there an age, Greg?
I think I don't think they care if kids come.
We're gonna put all the 40-year-olds together.
I was saying, Paul, you made Tessa's day when we had your text about her being the MVP, but now we got to keep her working. She still has a lot of service hours to do. That's
right.
Yeah, well, the more the merrier. So
it's just tough. It's the Saturday of Thanksgiving, so I just have to see what our schedule is. But.
Yeah. The way they were advertising it is we can all burn off some of the food from. But yeah, a lot of people are out of town or whatever.
I plan to go, Greg. But,
okay.
Yeah. Where is it advertised?
So it's on their website. I actually just pulled it up on my other computer, but if you go to Natural Lands, and I mean, if you want, I can do it on the screen here. But if you just go to Natural Lands website and then go to their events and scroll down to the actual date, the 27th, and you just register on there.
Oh, you
On
have
the
to
web?
register.
Yeah, I mean, it's free, but I guess they just want to know how many people are showing up. I'm just looking through here.
There's nobody from the public on here right now, right?
No.
I was just going to tease you and say, unfortunately, though, you won't be able to advertise it on the Landenberg Facebook page.
Oh God, don't even bring that up.
I'm just going to, I was going to say, I was like reading it in real time, but I meant to tease you about it. But,
ridiculous, but thank you.
Sorry.
You can send it to me. I'll put it on the township website and Facebook page.
Awesome, thank you. And I did share that on the Landenberg page just to before
you got it in the nick of time.
Yeah. And how old is your kid? Because they have youth age 12 to 18.
Okay, she's 14. She just turned 14.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. All right, so it's on their website, but I'll send it over to you, Jeff. And I mean, if you guys want, I can just forward it along to the rest of the group. I'll just send it anyway and save you a step. Okay, I'm just writing that down. All right, so next up, I spoke with, or actually Matt from Velo and Me, the bike group, who's doing all the trail installations, reached out, and he's interested in adding another trail over at Franklin Preserve. And I'll pull up the screen just so you can see where we're talking about. Boom. Okay. So I don't have a cursor because I'm using my finger, but if you look at the area underneath the 8.4 acre little box there, which is the, what is that? The Pico something or other?
That's the Colonial Pipeline Station. Colonial
Station. Okay. So if you look at the little triangle or half triangle area beneath that, this is the area that Matt is interested in putting a trail in. It would basically be, from what I understand, a loop trail that, if you picture, it's basically the shape of the white outline around it. It's just a horseshoe through there that would connect to the other trails that he has already installed.
You lost me. It's the area below the Colonial Pipeline bump out?
Yeah,
okay, I got it.
Exactly. And I think I looked it up. I think it's about maybe 8 acres in that section there. So it'd be a small trail. I'm gonna pull up his text to me.
He doesn't think we own behind Colonial, does he? That little Pico right away. See the skinny strip? That's a power line right away.
No, I mean he drew me a real basic drawing on there, but no, he kept it within our Franklin Preserve map. So it's basically a horseshoe. If you draw from the yellow line, and I'm sorry, it's hard to describe it as but the yellow line that comes south of the white Pico box.
Yep.
Just draw a horseshoe into there. That's where he's picturing.
That's good. That yellow line's a driveway.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's what he said. So he said you'd have to cross the pump station access road to get to that trail. But yeah, I mean, he's going to meet with me this week. Was it this week? The 8th. So next week, we're going to meet on Monday at 4:00. Anyone's welcome to join, and he's going to just kind of walk the area just to show me in person what it looks like.
I would encourage him to put as much as he can into the tree lines, because as you saw this summer, wherever he crosses a meadow, when he doesn't maintain it, you lose the trail. Like people were, like when Eli went to show the Boy Scout where the bridge was. He lost the trail, couldn't find it. I had to go help him.
Yeah.
So keeping the trail in the woods helps define it and reduces maintenance cost.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
And I can see trees. I mean, you see some trees in there, but inevitably he's going to end up with some meadow.
Right. So, and I think he actually already put some flags out there if anyone, has time and wants to go check it out themselves and not do it on Monday. But yeah, so we're going to meet there Monday afternoon. Like I said, anyone's welcome to join. The other thing that I brought up to him was a possible trash cleanup volunteer day. Since, I've walked his new trails a few times now, and there's some old trash in there. I don't know if it's from the previous owner or what, but I suggested maybe we set up a day where we advertise and get some volunteers to come out and join us and do some cleaning up of some trash. There's some bigger items in there. So, we might need some extra help to carry it out and throw it in a truck or something. He suggested possibly doing it over sometime in the winter when the plants are, the vegetation is further down and you can, get deeper in there and see more of the trash. But he agreed and thought it was a great idea. He said there's a good amount of trash in there. So we didn't actually. What's that?
Adds character.
Yeah. Well, if you've walked those trails, some of the trails, they've hung up some of the old trash in there.
Little trophies here and there. I saw that.
Yeah. There's like a bike wheel hanging on a tree. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some antiques that we'll dig out. So anyway, we haven't set an actual date for that, but I was thinking, I don't know, December or somewhere, sometime in the winter. So that's it on that one.
That sounds good.
Yeah, so only other topic I had was, I mentioned it before, the damage at Goodwin. And I know, Paul, we discussed that I guess somebody was riding a dirt bike or normally rides a dirt bike in there, but, either they're doing it a ton and just going back and forth because it's a good area. The vegetation was all just trampled down. Or it's bigger equipment.
Could you tell if it was wide enough to be a truck or was it a dirt bike?
I mean, it was 10, 15 feet wide. So unless they're, riding dirt bikes a ton of times back and forth over it, I would say it's bigger.
Probably a four-wheeler, it looked like to me.
Yeah, it could be a four-wheeler. I thought about that too. So it's just something I saw, and it's kind of disappointing because the ton of plants are all mashed down in there. So anyway,
we are done the growing season, so it's not too bad, right? But we don't want to make
I mean, now hole. They're all kind of dying back.
We don't want to make a mud hole. So a few years ago, Greg, we had somebody drive a four-wheeler in there. They didn't realize that little stream comes through the middle and they got stuck. So the police came in, found them, and they were judge gave them community service hours, and that kid never showed up. But that's beside the point. But I suspect, I haven't seen them in person other than what me and you saw, but I haven't seen the new ones. I suspect it's the same kids on the four-wheelers.
Gotcha.
And I could maybe I'll mention to Jeff, he could make a phone call and have the kid not do that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice because it's definitely, the more they do it, they're definitely going to be making mud trails and tracks in there. So that's all I had. Did anyone else have any other topics or items they'd like to discuss?
Oh, I just wanted to say when I was out taking the pictures and checking on signature, I saw a track down by the end of the park. And I was just happy to see that he had, well, I felt bad that he was hunting in the rain, but he had marked the sign down there with his number. And I checked the website, and the website was working, and it was marked on the website that he was in the woods at the time. So I don't know if Jim might not be on anymore, but to pass it along that I'm glad that it's working and the FSA is utilizing the calendar.
That's great.
Nice. Yeah.
Tells us too, because we sign up by zone, what zone we can hunt in. So everybody knows that if, again, within the club, if someone's going to be in a particular zone. So
yeah, so I don't know if I only know the initials because it was on the calendar. So if you could tell whoever it was, I think WJB or WJD. I can't remember exactly. I don't know if you know who those initials were, but tell them thank you very much for marking it and marking the calendar.
Yep.
So, not that I would have gone for a hike in the rain, but I guess it's good hunting weather.
I prefer to be sitting inside.
My husband said that it's good. It was that dreary weather where like the deer can't hear you and you can sneak up on them. But he said it was good hunting weather. But to their credit, I don't think anybody was going to be in the woods in the rain, but they still took the time to mark both spots and the calendar. So even when there was unlikely to be bikers or hikers, they still followed the rules. So.
Yeah. 30 years ago, I might have been out in the rain like that, but not anymore.
But I was glad. It made me feel like it finally worked, and I was able to check and see, and it was a success. So that was good.
So, Greg, I have one more topic. I reshared my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yeah. This
is Crosston Park. I'm going to the top of Crosston Park. Here's the White Clay Creek. There's the footbridge that goes over into this meadow here. So two things. One is there's kind of an anomaly where the GIS shows the borderline way up into the middle of the vineyard, which we've had that checked, and apparently this is wrong. The border is about right here somewhere. But it's extreme up in this corner. You know, it's way up here. So anyway, why I brought it up was when I was looking at moving the trails around down here, this is the wet area down here. And this is the trail. You can kind of see it. Can you see that outline?
Yeah.
That's the wet part of the trail that we just need to give up on. And so I was going to turn the trail and follow this stream here. This stream represents the old road bed for Old Post Road. See this here, Old Post Road. Old Post Road came here, here, and then went like this. And you can see it on the 1883 map. And so this is raised up. They built the road by raising it, by excavating a trench and then using the dirt to raise the road. So that's why there's a trench here. So I was going to make this the trail. We just come off of here and join Old Post Road and then come over here. And then right here, we're back on our trail again. So I'm just abandoning the swampy stuff and we're back to the trail. The reason I'm bringing it up is I can see people are using, they're using our trail by cutting through here. You can see them where they cut through. And I would think this would be really good to make official. So this would be us working with this landowner here. This landowner earns this lot and there's a stream dividing their lot. And so they mow over here and, you know, they take care of this, but over here, it's kind of a floodplain wasteland where they don't really seem to take care of. That if we could get like a 10-foot wide easement for whatever this is, 50 feet, maybe, you know, 75 feet, I don't know. Then we could make this an official park entrance for a trail. That now all the people from all these houses, all this could now access the back end of the park officially instead of just cutting through. But then also, you know, thinking of connecting trails, we can get into the next township. You're not too far down Mercer Mill Road from White Clay Creek State Park. It's just a nice little connection there. So I just wanted to get it out there for the collective memory. In case I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I think that's a good trail connection.
Don't say that.
In case I win the lottery and move to,
There you go.
in case I moved, I don't know where I would move. London, Britain. Yeah, that's where I'd move. London, Britain Township. I'm kidding.
Upgrade.
Just kidding.
All right.
Okay.
That's cool. So how, I mean, we would approach the homeowners that.
Yeah, I kind of bring it up. See if Jeff, do you know who lives there, or do you know there's people?
I do not, sir.
I mean, I don't want to bring up their name in a public meeting because it's being recorded. So I'm not going to press the information key and stuff. So
right. Do you know, Paul, if I don't, and I should, it's in London, Britain, but is Old Post Road a private lane or is that township owned?
No, it's township owned, and you can tell because the yellow tax parcel lines do not include the road. See that?
Gotcha.
So this is public road till here. And now here it turns into a driveway, and you can see the difference in the paving.
Okay.
So just a little fun tidbit. We have a private road in Kimblesville, and you can clearly see that. Hold on, I'm lost. That's Peacedale Road. I need to go south then, right? Where the heck's Kimblesville? Let me zoom out.
Southeast.
Here it is. There it is. So there's the school. What's that? There's the school. And here is Appleton Road. And here's the Township building. And here's Walker Road. And this Tilden Drive. What's the name of the shop back there, Jeff?
Richard's Garage.
Richard's Garage. See, you can see the road that services 1, 2, 3, 4 properties is a private lane. Tilden Drive is a private lane because the tax parcel covers it. It does not make a break. So that's a private road. One more little tale is on, this is the Ford farm and the Gagging Trail goes around the perimeter of it. I'm not sure if my screen's keeping up, but I'll pause when I get there. At the bottom corner of the Ford farm, you can see this is a public access road that's just grass, but the township owns that to get out to the Gagging Trail. And I'd like to mark that as a trail. Same over here. Same over here in this corner. This one is marked as a trail, right, Jeff? That gets you out to the
correct
trail here.
Well, I have an easement on my property. Is it possible here to see it? I don't want to drag this out, but I don't know if that.
I don't know where you live.
Oh, I'm sorry. I live right next to Dave. It's Gerstenhaber. At the end of Ways Run.
Go north, Paul.
I'm getting there. Ways Run. That's Walker Road.
Off of Walker, yeah.
There's Johnson Lane.
Yeah,
Ways Run. All right, where are you?
Right there at the end of the cul-de-sac.
This one? 56?
I'm 24 Ways. Yeah, that's us. Yeah, with the extra garage. Yeah.
So just here, lean your head out the window and we'll see if you're waving.
Yeah. But there's supposed to be an easement on our property too to get to the trail that's around that field. And I just
no. Wait, what field? You don't connect any field.
So behind Dave's house, see where that field is back there?
Yes.
There's a trail. There's the trail all the way around there.
Yeah, the Gagging Trail.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be an easement in our property that was supposed to be able to get people from the neighborhood to be able to use that trail. But I don't know. But
your property doesn't connect to that trail.
Yeah, no, but there was talks before of having the easement come through and then possibly continue through to Crosston or to go through Dave and our property and then go up to that thing. But that, I mean, it predates us moving here, but we were told there was an easement there. And I was always wondered why nobody ever followed up. Yeah.
So I don't know of any easement for that. And Jeff, do you know of anything? I've never heard of that.
No, sir. I haven't heard of that either.
So this is the only little tidbit right here. Oh, all I had to move was left 2 inches and I've been in your property. If there was something or some idea at some point, like it would have made sense to me to connect this to this with a walkway.
Yeah, so I think that was the original plan.
Right, but it never made it.
Yeah, it's on our deed, but it's not marked.
It never made it into the tax parcels. It could be on the deed, yeah, but I don't know where you would go. You know, if I go through your property, where do I go?
Yeah, I think there was a hope to get it through to there and then have them be able to get to that field, but we just crossed through Dave's backyard to get to the trail now. So.
There you go. Yeah, you could walk up here to get to the trail.
Yeah. Thank you. I was just curious because I know you were talking about easements, and I'm like, I know there's one on our deed, but curious if anybody ever did.
I was stopped by someone last week who loves the Ford Farm Trail, the Gagging Trail. And he really appreciates us upping our maintenance schedule for that. And he hopes we'll keep it up in the future. He was very pleased.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever driven down Walker once that I haven't seen somebody walking on it.
That's great.
Cool.
All right, Greg, it's
all right.
Delayed.
I actually have a quick question. What should we do, if anything, about that dog that comes into Crosston? Is it like, are we liable if that thing bites someone?
I would guess the owner is liable.
Yeah, that's my guess too.
Okay.
Is the dog aggressive? Like, are people in danger?
No, it's not aggressive at all. It's just wandering on its own, so I didn't know if there's something we should do.
Yeah, and the problem, I said that when you sent the text, the problem is, you know, if somebody's doing the right thing and walking their dog on a leash, their dog might be aggressive, and this dog comes running up to it, you know, that could cause a problem.
Yeah.
Did you guys say you know who the dog owner is? Like somebody's put the dog owner on notice?
It's the property right next to the park. So I don't know, like, if it's worth like sending a note or like knocking up and being like, your dog is coming into the property, or if it's really just not a big deal.
I'm a dog person, so I don't care if the dog comes over, as long as it's a friendly dog. If it's one of the eat people dogs, then that dog should be contained. But
yeah,
no, my daughter's chased it, and it's not aggressive at all.
Just to Greg's point, like my dog is fine as long as she's not on a leash, but because we keep her on a leash in the park, she's older. They call it leash aggression. When they're on a leash, they feel attacked.
Yeah.
They can't,
right,
because they're on the leash and the other dog's not on the leash. That my dog has never bit anybody or bit another dog, but sounds terrible. Like sounds like she's going to rip somebody's head off because she feels like she can't get away or can't.
I think it's like, you see the guy that's ready to fight in the bar, and he's like, "Hold me back, hold me back."
Right. And then I was like, I don't understand it. She's a completely different dog. Meanwhile, she'll roam, you know, the whole property or go visit her neighbor and never once, you know, barks. But put her on a leash and have another dog come at her, it sounds like she's going to kill somebody. But in the state of Maryland, you get one bite. If you bite somebody or another dog one time, they put you down and you're strictly liable. So
wow.
They don't have
to put you down, or the dog?
Put the dog down. The dog gets one chance. It sounds weird, but the dog gets one chance. But it's strict liability. Like it's you get one chance, and then you're responsible for everything. Doesn't matter if it was just an accident or
wow.
You let them out of the backyard once, but you get one bite. So
wow.
Yeah. I mean,
it would make me nervous.
What was that?
I just said it, you know, it could lead to problems even if the dog, you know, appears friendly.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the
dog pooping all over the park too.
Right.
Are you seeing it still, Mary? Is it still around?
I haven't been there in about 2 weeks, but he was around. She, whichever it is, was around then.
Can we discuss like you said, can we discuss which house it actually is? Because I'm just trying to picture where it's coming from.
Like the old barn and old house right next to the tennis courts?
Yeah. Because when the owner calls, it goes right to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what the plan of action would be to address it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we could have Jeff send the owner a letter saying, you know, please keep your dog out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably support that just to be safe.
Yeah.
Or you can, Jeff, put something on Facebook about dogs in parks must be on leash and please clean up after them or something.
Yeah.
But we don't know if that person is on Facebook.
Yeah, but a general reminder.
I mean, if putting on Facebook and as a reminder might just also cover, I mean, I know it's not our liability if something happens, but just, you know, kind of lets the township say, you know, we're doing everything we can.
Yeah, I'd say just like sending a note to the property owner would probably be the best bet.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you 100% sure though that's the address?
I would say 95% sure.
Okay. All right.
Isn't that the only house right there?
It looks like, I mean, there's one on the other east side of it, but seems like that's pretty much the only property, unless that dog's running through their yard as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I'd be fine with them sending them a letter or however you guys want to proceed with it. I don't know. Anyone?
Yeah, I just think sending a note would probably be the best bet.
Okay. Jeff, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm writing notes.
Oh, gotcha. You cool with doing that?
We'll try and develop something, Greg. And then since you're the chairperson, we'll send it to you for a look-see and see what you think.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
make it polite or courteous, you know, hey, just a reminder, we've had complaints about a dog we believe is yours, and please keep it out of the park and on a leash and pick up the poop.
What would be a good thing is if, Mary, I think you sent it out one time before, but if you have a picture of the dog, if you could send that out again, please, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Jeff, it looks like 101 Parsons Road.
Yep, got it.
okay. Any other topics of discussion? All right, and doesn't look like there's still any public on here, so no public comment. So with that said, I will wrap it up. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
All right, have a good night.